Hey guys, welcome to the tea room with Talia. I got my buddies here, Nadine, Oshri. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, how's it going?
So I was on a flight last night. That's what I'm starting to tell you.
From where?
From Vancouver. I was doing a show. So I did a show as part of this festival called Chutzpah, where they showcase Jewish...
Chutzpah?
Yeah.
Oh, cute.
Chutzpah Festival.
Could they pronounce it right?
Yeah, they did.
Like
it was
chutzpah.
very much like chutzpah. And there were a lot of Israelis, actually.
Are there a lot of Israelis in Vancouver?
Very sad. Since October 7th, there are. A lot have moved there.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
I wonder why there. It's so different than the geography in Israel. Like
I know there were a lot of Israelis that moved to Vancouver. I don't know. I know Winnipeg actually has a lot of Ukrainians also and Israelis. But aside from the Jewish community, it's mostly like Bangladesh, Chinese. The Asian food is unbelievable.
And how many people were at the show?
300.
Wow.
Which was a full
That's a big show, right?
People always say, because I used to be a lawyer, they're like, how do you go from law to comedy? The truth is, I really went from comedy my whole life to law. Law was really the detour for me.
Right.
Because it does seem weird. It's like, you're a mom from Great Neck in the Orthodox community. And then you like randomly, who does that? Like you started this whole comedy career and it's not just a hobby. But the truth is, I always felt this is what I should have been doing in the first place. And I went to law school because, I'm from the East Coast. My parents didn't push me towards entertainment. They didn't understand it.
Well, law seems like for a lot of people, the ultimate, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to do law.
In our community,
Right, it doesn't matter
general.
what you study undergrad for law school.
Right.
So anyone can go as long as you take the LSAT.
You don't
right?
have to be pre-law is kind of this made up thing. I was a music theory major. So I was a real artsy head at Penn, which was unusual because everyone at Penn was really career driven.
Right.
So when I got my first job out of Penn, which was $10 an hour, giving an NBC studio tour.
Really?
It's like, it was cool. Everyone was like, wow, that's so cool. But it was like shameful, to my parents and their investment and compared to what all my friends were doing.
Like we paid all that money for you, Penn. Now you're getting minimum wage.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
did you think, I never knew this about you, did you think that NBC job would lead to something there?
Well, so my goal really was, so I was the director of an all-female sketch musical comedy troupe. So basically, I wrote a lot of sketches called Bloomers, and I really put the troupe back together. It was falling apart. It had been started in the 70s. The male one, Mask and Wig, started many, many years. They had their own clubhouse. And I was the first junior. It was always like only a senior could be the director of a performing arts troupe at Penn. I was the first person ever who was a junior to be elected director because the group had been very top heavy and everyone graduated and I was the only person really in line who could do big things with it, put the troupe back together.
Did you travel or you only did shows at Penn?
And Atlantic City.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was. But now so basically I got us a business staff. I was the first person to get us online. There was Netscape at the time. It was just coming in. And and so it's funny, like, Vanessa Bayer, who was a cast member on Saturday Night Live, she's, a few years younger than me. She came up through Bloomers, which would not have existed had I not taken it over.
So maybe she overlapped with me, or was she younger? I don't know.
I don't know, but
I remember seeing them.
But she got it in she got the comedy bug from having been in Bloomers at Penn, and I always think to myself, she should only know.
Right.
There would not have been Bloomers if not for me. It's true. And one semester, I was also the only director to not have a show. Once I said, no, we need time to rebuild the group. And I held auditions and I put together, I got a new behind the scenes person, costume designers, set designer. I was the first person to let men into the band too. I mean, it was a shame. We always had an all-female band, but that I just couldn't find. Believe it or not, hardest thing had to find a woman drummer and bass player.
Huh.
So, but
you really were like pretty, woke for your time. Really like letting the men into the women's troupe.
That is so true. Oh my God. I got so much flack for that. It was considered really backwards and anti-feminist. And now you're right. Now that would be inclusive.
Now the conservatives are feminists, so,
Wait, so how'd you go from NBC to law school?
So things were going pretty well for me. Actually, I wanted the Saturday Night Live internship or the paid ship because that could really be a springboard to
So like be a
working
writer
there.
or
Yeah. And I had gotten a lot of positive feedback from people I met. And so, yeah, I was dating a guy at the time who really, when I told him I wanted the SNL job, those hours were Tuesday through Saturday, like 3 p.m. until 1 a.m. So that's Friday night, Saturday night. It's just totally
like your whole life,
antithetical
yeah.
to a Shabbos lifestyle. You know what I mean?
right.
And not just that, it's antithetical if you're with a guy who has a 9-to-5 job.
like when do you see each other?
Yeah. And we were talking about getting engaged, and he was just like, listen, I didn't really know this was a passion of yours or a dream, whatever. He's like, but if you get a job there, he's like, I don't want to hold you back, but I also don't want to marry someone who's always going to be like on that schedule. And
Yikes.
yeah.
So what'd you do? Did you take the job or?
I don't know. I just, I think the job came so easy to me. Like even Tina Fey read my college stuff and was like, oh yeah, like, we'll just be patient. Like your time will come. And I don't know. I really wanted to marry this guy for whatever reason at that time. And so I chose law school and marriage over.
Law school in love. You were really like going down. This is really like some new stuff I've never heard. I mean, we knew there was a previous guy.
Yeah, it wasn't even, I can't even say, oh, he was basically like,
He left it up to you.
Yeah, he's like, this is who I am. But I should have seen the red flags. I also was allergic to cats. I still am allergic to cats.
So he's a cat lover?
He had a Bengal cat. And he was basically like, I'm never going to give up my cat. So
you have to take allergy
like,
medicine?
yeah, like I'll still marry you and everything. Like I love you. But
if you want to move in with me and the cat, it's your problem.
yeah. And I just took it all. I took the cat.
The red flag is that the guy had a cat.
It was a gorgeous
Where
cat.
is he now? It's a gorgeous cat. Wow.
It was
Where is the cat now?
The cat now is probably long dead. I don't know how long they live. But I don't know what I think I took the bird in the hand at the time. I know it sounds funny, but the marriage in law school was like one ticket, and then the SNL working for Tina Fey was another ticket. And who knew Tina Fey was going to be Tina Fey?
Oh, so she wasn't huge then?
No.
Right. Oh.
Oh, wow.
I had this one woman
wow.
in my corner. And then I still opted for the easy route, I think, which was like, well,
How is law school the easier?
I know it. Well, easier in the sense that it's
the vanilla
There's a set
route.
path.
prescribed
Yeah,
path.
the vanilla route.
Yeah.
They're like,
The only
the easy-
unsure thing is you got to make law review. Coming from a school like Cardoso, you have to be in the highest tier in order to get the interviews at the large firms.
And how many years did you work at a big law firm?
5. Well,
What made
4.
you decide to leave?
So I was really excited about law school, and the reason that first fiance had wanted me to go to law school was so that I would graduate and open a practice with him. So I was never so concerned about actually law review and all that.
right. What kind of law was he doing?
Yeah, it was like personal injury
Right.
stuff.
You got a
That's-
job at a
yeah.
big law firm.
Yeah.
Doing bankruptcy law.
That
That's
was
it. Wait,
once I
personal
left
injury
him.
is another red flag.
I know.
2 flags. Cat and
at-
personal injury.
At 22, though, I didn't know personal injury was. I remember telling a
you mean you
friend
didn't
of mine.
see the billboards?
I didn't know that was like a lowbrow area of the law, or sleazy, or whatever you want to call
Or
it.
the commercials? Do you
He
have
had a commercial on
mesothelioma?
TV.
He has
Yeah.
a commercial.
He did.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be, we can talk about TV in the future, but this guy's
I
on
was in the
TV.
commercial. That's
You were in
how
the
I-
commercial?
Yeah, at the time. So
Were you like pretending to be in a car crash or something? Like, what was your role?
no, I was like, call our offices, And I remember thinking at the time, like, wow, I gave up Saturday Night Live to be in a ambulance chasing commercial.
That's right.
I know. I was so in love with this guy. Made no sense. It was so stupid.
Wait, so you guys separated during law school or during?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like just a big mistake. But yeah, the truth is, I can't say I regret it not taking that path because I loved law school, and to this day, it informs the way I think about everything. Everything that's in the paper,
Super logical and analytical.
like I understand everything.
Right.
Like
even maybe for comedy in a way, just because you have to really organize your thinking.
Yes.
Even just for the LSATs.
Yeah. Who remembers
logic,
that,
right? All that, which I haven't taken, but my whole family has.
Okay. Yeah. I just, I can't imagine having gone through my adult life without the law school background. Only because, but at college, again, I didn't take poli-sci, economic. I was so artsy. So it was the first time I took practical classes.
So what happened between being a lawyer and then being a comedian?
Right. So I left that path of the Saturday Night Live, and then the law thing ended up going really well. I got myself a clerkship for federal judge. You know what it was? My grades were so high in law school because I was married and I wasn't going out. Like everyone else was single and going out every night. I had no social pressure. I was always studying 24/7. I was just me and like a couple of friends who were also super just bookish. We had a study group, and so my grades were like the best they'd ever been in my life, actually. And so once he and I were getting divorced, I was a third year. It wasn't that hard to get like interviews and good jobs, good interviews. But anyway, so then off of that clerkship, I got into Paul Weiss, which was like this major firm. And it was funny because it just wasn't what I set out to do. I went to law school because it seemed cool. A lot of my friends were doing it, and my fiance and his family were like, "You should do it." And I love the education, but I don't really think things through. I don't know about you guys, but it never occurred to me, now this is your profession and your jobs will be the practical stuff of it.
Well, I think that's kind of like a youthful thing of like, this is what's next. Like you get married. Oh, I'm planning a wedding. You don't really think about the next day. Right?
Really?
You don't really think about the
marriage.
I think that a young person going into things, they may not necessarily think about the marriage. They're thinking about the wedding, right? You're thinking about law school. You're not thinking about being a lawyer.
Practicing law. It didn't occur to me what the practice was.
Even staying at a big firm for 5 years is a long time.
It was, I guess, 4 years. I'm counting maternity leave. So, no, but then...
Wait, so you had both your kids while you were practicing law?
The first one. Okay. And then, so I moved. So yeah, no, but I always looked back like, oh, I should have stayed at SNL. I should have, stayed friends with Tina Fey or
Tina. You listening?
I know, right?
Tina,
like
Tina Fey.
My whole life would have been different, and so it's always like, but I can't regret it though because I'm happy with the way things turned out,
right.
And I'm so. Like I said, I can't imagine how my brain would work had I not been to law school. I feel like I don't know.
Well, sometimes like the circuitous path informs you, right? There's so many people who they go to law school, they do this, they go to medical school, they go to residency, their path is set. But having, a curvy journey makes you who you are.
Yeah, I mean, the showbiz route, I guess, I had no support in my life for it. Any of my friends that were like, oh, this is what you have to do. As soon as I started dating this guy and talked and started talking about going to law school, they all dropped off. Like
they dropped out of your life, or they like, okay.
They were like, oh,
showbiz friends.
You're becoming this person.
You're a suit now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's such a waste of your life. It was so funny. People used to say anybody could be a lawyer, but not anybody could, be funny or whatever. And like, when you're a certain way, you just take it for granted. I'm like, oh, I've been silly my whole life. Maybe it's time to get serious.
Right.
And then, and then the practice itself, I don't know. I just always knew I'm not going to do this forever.
Right.
I mean, if somebody held a gun to my head or if I had to support a family on my own and that was the best way to do it, I could do it. But I wasn't happy at all doing it.
The hours are so bad.
That's the thing. bankruptcy law is only fun if you're at a big firm doing like the big headline cases, the Chapter 11s, the Lehman Brothers or the airlines but then once you move to Long Island and, you talk to people and you're like, you're doing much smaller bankruptcies. It's really boring. Like individuals losing their houses and stuff.
Right.
It's like,
And then you were just a stay-at-home mom for a while?
yeah. And I told Carrie, I said, I'm going to do something creative. I don't know what it's going to be. So I started writing novels. Like I had, everybody has like one good book in them. And I felt I've been writing briefs for so many years. Writing a novel is so creative and interesting compared to that. So I was already used to writing things that were 100 pages, 200 pages or working on it.
How long did it take you to write the book?
It takes 6 months to write a book.
That's
Wow.
fast. And you
Yeah.
found someone to publish it? Or how does that work?
So I started shopping it around.
Tell us what it's about.
Oh, so
I know a little.
My pipe dream book was it's called Summer Girl. It's about a girl who she goes to sleepaway camp for the first time, Jewish sleepaway camp, and she has all these experiences. It's like a young adult coming of age story about a girl in summer camp. Basically, like she hooks up with a lot of boys. Like she's like this prude during the school year. And then she lets loose in the summer thinking nobody is ever going to find out. And then like it makes its way back to school. And then she has to deal with the consequences the next year.
Juicy. Have your daughters read it?
No. Does that sound good?
But you should give it to them for like next Hanukkah.
Oh my God.
That'd be
Would
so
you want
funny.
to read your mother writing that?
So then, but you wrote more. You wrote.
So that didn't sell. I remember
But how did you get it published? You published it yourself or you found
I never
someone?
published that. That was
Oh.
like the dream book. And I got an agent who liked it and she pitched it to a bunch of publishers. And the line really was, it's too adult fiction for young adult and too young adult for adult fiction. It doesn't
interesting.
fit in anywhere.
Should have made it a yoga retreat.
I thought it was awesome. I was so proud of this book. But it didn't have, I guess the message wasn't a great moral for young teens.
What was the message?
That you should hook up as much as you can in the summer. That was really
Oh
it.
my God. That sounds more like an SNL skit, man.
I don't know what I was thinking.
And then how many books did you write after
So
that?
then my agent said, you really do have a stronger adult fiction voice. She's like, I'm really seeing that more.
Adult.
Adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought I wrote it fine for
Yeah.
the
And
kids,
well, I'm saying
but-
adult because didn't you write romance?
Right. So then romance novels were blowing up. So this was like 2013 or 14. It was around the time 50 Shades of Grey was like the biggest thing ever. And then they were trying to, that was S&M. So then they were trying to blow up these other niches like vampire and zombie romance, all this crazy stuff. So they had me write. They were like, oh, so now I became this right to sell person because I could churn things out quickly. So I wrote an erotic romance that took place in a law firm.
And how did that do?
Conflict of interest. I did it under a pseudonym. It was great. Like
Will you tell us the pseudonym for our listeners?
for this, yeah, Jillian Reese, Gillian, like my last name Gill is my maiden name, and then Reese,
Oh, Jillian.
Reese. So yeah, Jillian Reese.
And that sold?
Copy
could you buy it on Amazon right now?
Copy sold on Amazon.
It can be. It's the cover art's awesome, but it's only an ebook. It was never. So I made like no.
It never
money
went
on
to print.
No, but it's also that one was a novella because that's how they got me.
What does that mean?
started.
It's shorter?
Yeah, it was half the length. So 30,000 words is a
Novellas
novella.
like Philip Roth. I mean,
Yeah,
that's what I think.
That's so
Novella.
funny.
Goodbye, Columbus.
But that's 30,000 words. A full length is 60,000 or more. So
How many pages is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
They do it by the word count, so I never looked at pages. But I don't know. I just got bored. I did write a vampire romance.
Vampire lawyer?
A gay vampire romance.
And that didn't
So
take off?
that one did really well.
Oh, nice.
The gay vampire romance. And I did that one under a different
Oh, if
pseudonym.
only you could have sold that into a movie.
What was that pseudonym?
That one I'm not
Wait,
saying.
what?
Wait, you had a different pseudonym for
We
every
could
book?
have like merch here.
I did.
Come on.
If I started selling those books, one of them I have in hard copy. There was the vampire one. There were 2 law firm ones actually. Yeah, but they it took me a while to break into the straight market. It's like porn. Like they make you write the gay stuff before they'll let you write a hetero.
So they tell you what to
Really?
write?
Yeah. Well, if you're writing to sell.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because the hetero market is like flooded,
Saturated.
So until you get a little bit of a reputation.
How do you get a reputation if every book is a different name?
Well, no.
Well, I guess within the publishers, they'll
Yeah,
know who
within
you
the-
are.
They know
Right.
that you're a competent writer.
So the books weren't funny.
No.
Okay.
I mean, the dialogue. I always had a natural flair for dialogue and the way people talk. So I think there were a lot of funny moments.
Yeah, we have to talk about this more, your process and how you wrote,
I would
when you would write.
well,
Would you write on
this
paper or
studio where
computer?
we're sitting, this was always my creative space. Like I had a desk here. I had the walls were painted.
This was the red room.
This was the red room. Yeah. And then after that, I was like DJing a little bit for a while.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What kind of music?
EDM. I love EDM. Not professionally, but
Right.
Like
Music
were you
major.
hired for like bar mitzvahs?
no, I mean, I did a couple parties. It was super easy. But
So do you have all the equipment still?
I could have been a remix artist too.
Yeah,
I would have been so good at
Because
that.
you're good at music.
Yeah, I love taking existing music and then like giving it different beats and mixing it with other songs that you didn't know they would go together, but they do because the chord structure and stuff. I love remix art.
You know my favorite remixes?
Who? What?
The Pony by Genuine and Toxic by Britney Spears. It's called Toxic Pony.
Oh,
It's amazing.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Yeah,
I
look
gotta
it up.
send. But I like Skrillex.
Yeah.
Skrillex a lot. That's it. I don't know. So
So you have a lot of talents and a lot of interests.
I wrote a. Wait, did you ever hear my children's music?
What?
No? When my kids were in preschool, I wrote a good morning song and I actually went around and would perform it at Bethel.
Oh,
and I
really?
went once to Cherry Lane.
Do you have like a YouTube
Yeah.
video of you singing it?
I have a YouTube video that I collaborated with a chick that was really big on YouTube doing it was like this kind of art that was really big for a while.
Origami?
Made by Mommy. I don't remember.
You could have been the real Miss Rachel, Miss Talia. This like I mean, I don't have little kids,
I
but this
could've.
person who's like totally like pro Palestine and
Oh,
she can't post anything about the Israeli children and she has this squeaky voice. I mean, all these missed opportunities.
What about children's
know.
books? You do the children's music, the adult books, you do children's books.
I always loved telling my kids nighttime stories, and I would make up the craziest shit like in bed and then I would always like, I have to write that down. That would be such a good story. But I never wrote any of that down.
Yeah,
I
well, you know what I'm working on.
you
It's
were working
hard.
on
It's
children.
right. I am. I have a
Yeah.
bunch. It's super hard.
Yeah.
A lot of rejection.
But I used to tell my kids this one nighttime story. I would get into bed with Eliza, my younger one, and Isabella's name of my older daughter. And so I'd get into bed with Eliza, and I would always say, once upon a time, there was a beautiful princess who had a very ugly sister. But the princess was so beautiful, and her name was Isabella.
Oh my God.
She's like, no, it's Eliza. I'm the pretty one. I'm like, no, Eliza's the ugly princess for this story. And everybody made fun of her because not only was she ugly, but she smelled terrible and she would poop everywhere. She couldn't
Some
stop
great
pooping.
parenting, Talia. Some great parenting.
Oh God.
And it was just so funny because she'd get so upset. Did you ever play dead in front of your kids too?
What are you talking about?
I used to love to scare them. Like, I'd be playing with them, like cards, like Uno or something, and then I'd go like this.
I'd be so scared that if I actually did pass out and had a medical emergency, my kids wouldn't call 911 because they'd think, oh, mom's playing again.
No, my kids always thought I really, like, something terrible happened. They were so easily scareable. It was so fun.
I don't think that's a common thing most moms do, but Then again, maybe I'm the weird one.
Oh my God, you're just giving them stuff for therapy. This is great.
How did they come out well adjusted? That's what I want to know.
I don't know.
It's
They
the
are,
grit.
though.
It's the grit you gave them. It's the grit you gave them.
I think
you
I'm
weren't telling.
home. I'm home all day.
You weren't telling them, make believe stories that weren't going to come true. The princess is beautiful. You're going to meet Prince Charming. You're like, this is real life. Sometimes,
real.
sometimes, mommy just plays dead. That's amazing. You gave them grit.
Or sometimes your sister is prettier than you, and you have to deal with it. But yeah, that was so funny. It would just make it worse and worse and worse.
Were they like,
What did
no
Carrie
more?
think of these
Did they ever-
bedtime tales?
Terrible. He's like, stop saying that. He didn't understand that. They got the joke because sometimes they'd both be sitting, and I'd say, once upon a time there was a beautiful princess, and they're like, it's me. They'd be fighting over it. I'm like, and today's beautiful princess is
Talia.
Talia. So the queen
Who had
was
two
beautiful.
horrible. Right. Then
I
you.
said the queen was so beautiful, but she really hated one of her daughters. No, not me.
You know what? You
It was
gave him.
so
You gave him a
fun.
sense of humor.
And they got invested in the story.
They
So.
were so invested. And then I used to, use words that they didn't know what they meant yet. I would say one of the princesses' name was Porna. Princess Porna. 'Cause she would date all the princes in all of the lands.
Well, I knew I had the right person when I asked you to dress up for the book fair. What were you like?
That's
Were you
right.
the giving tree or something?
Wait, what?
What
What
were
did you
you?
guys? It was your idea.
Were you like Big Bird? Yeah, because my mom used to
Big
do this for
Bird.
the book fair, and then I ran the book fair. Were you Big Bird?
No, I was
Giving tree or something?
the giving tree.
You were. I was
I
like,
was a
who's the
tree.
tree?
But
How do you
my
dress
God.
up like a tree?
I got a call from Nadine. I was just like, "Would you be a tree? You're tall."
Did I like? I think I made the costume. I think I like
It was an
cut
amazing.
leaves.
Yeah.
You got to get a picture of this.
Do you know it came up in my memories? I think on Facebook like a couple months ago. I could totally find that.
I think
When
I was
was
the
this?
wimpy kid.
It's like more
Diary of a Wimpy
it's like
Kid.
10
I
years
did.
ago.
Oh, wow.
We had someone. We did it a few times.
We did it 2 years in a row.
We got the rabbi to dress up as the caps for sale guy.
Oh my
Remember that? We gave him a
God.
lot of hats.
That was so fun.
That was really fun.
Was that before I was even doing stand up?
It might have been just early on. I was like, let me get the comedian before I can't afford her.
But and then
That's probably how we started getting into it. you know?
Susanna was something.
Susanna did something.
She dressed up.
She was our body man. She walked. She
Oh.
wouldn't dress up.
She gave
She
the-
was like our, the guy that like carries the bag for the president.
Like the assistant?
Those were some.
She was
fun-
like the producer.
Wow, this was some pre-pandemic fun.
Oh,
this was when they still
pre-pandemic
let
fun.
parents into the school.
Right.
But aren't you happy that they don't let us in as much
I
anymore?
know.
Oh, it's great.
Zoom parent-teacher
Zoom
conference is the
Zoom
best.
parent-teacher conferencing
Never going in for that again.
is
but
the
do you
best
know-
thing to happen to the teachers and the
It is
parents.
unusual. Do you talk to people in other towns? They don't do Zoom conferencing.
They don't do
anymore.
conferences at all in middle school and high school.
My kids in the
Parent-teacher
city have it.
conferences.
Really?
Oh, it's great.
Who has it?
In my kids' school in the city,
Oh, they-
Ramaz.
they
No, but
have
public
yeah.
schools don't do parent-teacher
For
conferences.
the high school,
for
at
high
least.
Right, that's right. Public
Right?
The
schools
high school
don't
and the
do
middle
it.
school.
But I'm saying other yeshivas, they don't do Zoom anymore. The parents go in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm glad we did.
Only-
I know
we
they
only
didn't
the
do that.
kids-
I think in Great Neck, they're like, we know no one wants
I
to
guess
see
if
each
your
other.
kid has like a big issue, they'll call you in. That's what it should be like. It should be like, if your kid is good, you have the 2-minute check-in.
No,
we're
but
done.
You know what I got this year?
conferences are so awkward, though, aren't they?
They're so awkward.
There's because ending them is like
Well, they're
it's
only
always like,
awkward-
Okay, do you have any questions? I'm like, no, that was amazing. Okay, thank you.
I feel like
thank
they're-
you. I'm
they're
gonna get
more
off
awkward-
now. Oh, okay. I mean, it doesn't end.
So
when
I
your
did
kids
the-
are doing well, they're awkward because there's not much to say.
Oh, then
when
that's
you've
it.
got one that, is more work.
No, but even then, I have the Hebrew teachers always like, okay, here we go again, Mr. Reese. You have the same teacher 3 years in a row, and
Yeah.
she's like, look, I get so upset for her. She's so afraid for the grade. I don't know, Mr. Reese, you need to tell her it's not so important. You have to tell her she in the world. She's not just in the one class and she have to get the. She's a person, a good neshama, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
This is a
she
little
failing?
Persian
Like,
Israeli.
No, my favorite
what
is
is going on?
the Israeli teacher is like, your son is doing amazing. I was like, he just got a 67 on his last test, but
Let's
he's a
not
good
be
boy.
positive.
He's a good boy. I was
Right.
like,
That's all they care. Yeah.
He's got a good neshama.
No, I think they're doing a number on us. They tell you, oh my God, I love her. She's a wonderful, beautiful. And then it's like, she's getting 67, but it doesn't matter. Like they just do a number on you. So you're happy. You're like, wait, no, that's bad, right? They know how to.
right.
Yeah.
Manipulate it.
Yeah. So I don't know. But the Zoom conferences are very awkward to end.
Very.
And then it's also like looking at their background and like, are they sitting in their bed? What does their room look like?
Oh gosh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, some of them don't have that under control. Like I'll
Teachers
see an
in their
unmade
bedroom.
bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, cleavage there. Like, ooh, let's lift that up. I remember my husband looked at me once. He's like, "Do I Venmo her? What do I do?" I was like, "No, this isn't OnlyFans.
OnlyFans,
This is a
right,
school. We're at a school
OnlyFans.
conference right now." So,
All right. So how do we even get here?
yeah, how did we get here? School conferences are funny. Are they? This is the season, right? This is it.
We just had ours.
March, April.
This
Yeah.
is the end of it, right? That's the last one.
This is it. Yeah. Now we're looking at.
Yeah, I don't know when I guess mine are coming up. I didn't have them yet.
Well, you know what I had this year was I set the schedule and then I got a couple of teachers canceling on me. They're like, your child's doing fine. There's nothing really to talk about. So
Oh,
I'm just going to
wow.
cancel the conference. I'm like,
That's
okay.
awesome.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah,
That
but I've
is
never seen
awesome.
that before. So
I don't think I ever had that, even when things were going well. Oh wait, should we do you have a social media post?
Yeah, seen it on
media
social.
post,
Anxiety
seen
of the
on
week?
social.
Is that what we're calling it? Anxiety
Wait,
of
is
the
that
seen on
different?
social?
Seen on social.
Oh, those are two different things.
Oh gosh.
We've got
Okay.
seen on social, anxiety of the week, and then dog minute. All right, these are our segments and interview. It's funny. I started paying attention more. I know this is just an aside, I guess, but I do see what you mean about this, like lightning, asking people
Like
just,
a lightning round.
like out of the box.
Like you do a regular interview and then at the end it's just like 5 to 10 quick questions,
Yeah,
one
like-
word answers.
Like every TikTok and reel that comes up for me now is like something like that with the White Lotus actors, like what was your reaction when you found out you got the part, or what was the interview like for you, or like, and then it'll just be there, or just something random about the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I get it now. But anyway, okay.
All
Seen
right.
on social.
Seen on
Seen
social. All right. So I have a friend that has about $30,000 in fancy Turkish women's lingerie. They are looking for a legit tzedakah to donate it to
Oy.
and need a tax receipt. Any ideas?
Okay.
Oh my
Turkish.
What's with the
Okay.
Turkish? Why not just say
30,000. I
lingerie?
need to take notes.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to know, why would someone think that someone else wants your used
Is
lingerie?
it used?
I guess-
$30,000?
It's like a car. The second you buy it, you leave the lot. The value just went down
Yeah,
by
that-
a huge percent.
use lingerie. I think using
But Turkish?
Turkish throws you off. Like it makes you not think about how disgusting. At first you're like, oh, it's exotic. You're like, oh wait, but it's
Hair
used
transplants
lingerie.
over there. That's what I think of with
Ooh.
Turkish.
Now I'm thinking of
Dictators.
hair in the lingerie. I mean, first of all, I have a lot of questions. Like, has it been dry cleaned? Like,
Don't
what
you feel
kind
like
of shape is it
if
in?
you spent all that money on lingerie, you should be like, I just wasted a lot of money. I'm not going to get a $30,000 tax receipt to put on my
person's trying
tax
to
records.
recoup,
Where'd you see
recoup
this?
their lingerie. What? That is such a cheap Jew. I'm sorry. That
Wait, where did you
No.
even?
Wait, we don't know. It's someone Jewish. Oh, they said tzedakah.
You said tzedakah. Wait, I'm like, it's the reason I assumed it. To tzedakah. Yeah, someone wants a tax receipt for their freaking La Perla.
That's like me being like, let me gather every sock I have that doesn't have a pair. I must have spent $10,000 on this. Let me
Yeah.
get a tax write-off.
Who wants my Under Armour socks with my foot sweat?
Where was this posted?
Well, that is anonymous. We cannot
Oh,
share.
we
it.
Oh, we
Can't
can't share.
share.
So what? But it's from when? Excuse me. Seen on Social is from a mommy group.
Yes.
Was
on
it like,
Facebook.
not like
It could be
the shul
Facebook, it could be
WhatsApp?
Reddit, it could be anywhere.
Okay, so Facebook or Reddit mommy group. This is where we're getting our posts that we're reading on Seen on Social. We will never say which group, and the person will always remain anonymous.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it kind of, even on like Facebook Marketplace, when people try to sell their used furniture or their used items and they try to get like a lot of money for it, I'm like, no one wants your junk.
I got a dog crate on
A used one?
Well, yeah, but
how
like
much
it
did
was
you pay for
clean.
it?
Like $100. This was like a $700 like.
No way.
I don't know why.
don't
I
even
felt
know
like
what
I
Let's say it
dog
was
crate is.
$700 and like I spent $700. I want $500 for it. That like you're not going to get
No,
that.
I think $100.
You have to like really discount it.
What
So
is a
people-
dog crate? I guess we'll go into dog minute. What is a dog crate?
Dog crate
And why is it
that where they sleep?
$700?
It's a nicer way of saying cage.
$700 for a cage?
Oh my god.
Well, it was like a nice one. I don't know why I felt I needed
What does that mean? The opening is bigger so they can
It was
like, see
just
out
cuter
more?
looking. They're usually just
What is
black
it like
wired.
it's got Persian doors, like
Stained glass windows?
I don't know. I just felt like I needed this crate. I think it's too small for him, to be honest.
Is that where the dog sleeps?
dogs
he
are
sleeps
so
at night?
expensive.
You use it for training, like when you're not in the house. And it's dog is like having a baby, but you can leave it at home in a cage and not be arrested.
right. Okay.
So,
Oh, you mean you
Yeah,
will
use
be
it for
arrested
training.
if it's not a dog?
I mean, I guess if I put a
Okay,
baby in a
noted.
cage,
Why is
I'd
that something
probably
you
be
did as a mother,
arrested.
Talia?
No, but I did. Did you ever do this when the kids were sleeping? I remember my kids were like 5 and 3. I ran out to 16 handles. Like,
I never did that, but my mom used to do that.
Oh,
That was like
really?
another generation. I didn't realize people our generation
Talia,
still did
no
those
one in our
things.
generation
You
did
would
it.
have been arrested.
Yeah.
I know. No one did it. Yeah. I
was once in the
but I'm
supermarket
a thrill
parking lot.
seeker.
I was in the supermarket parking lot. I said to my son, it was like 4 years old, I was like, wait here in the car. I'm going to get a cart. And apparently there was a cop right there. I didn't see him. And he
No.
goes, I can arrest you. You have to bring your kid with you to get the cart. And I was like, but
Oh
my
my
kid will
God.
not want to hold my hand and run off. That's why I'm going to get the cart.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we've all done that.
he was like, well, that's illegal. You can't leave the kid in the car. And I said, but
Wow.
I'm just going to get the cart. So then
A
I went to get
likely
my
story.
kid and he said, I'll watch your kid. It's okay. Leave him. And I was like,
That's
no,
worse.
I'm going to take my kid to the cart. Bye.
By man randomly
I mean,
stalking
clearly
me.
they're not making enough arrests that are meaningful that he felt he
Oh.
needed to arrest this mom in
Bring
the
back
Everfresh
cops.
parking lot.
I mean, I have
to the
memories
worst.
of my mom locking me in the car and going into the grocery store because she didn't want to deal with me in the grocery store.
Yeah, I used to lock my kids in the car and run into
Well,
stores.
what
I remember as a child, I was like, I would never do that to my kids.
Well,
Well,
now
it depends on how young, though, right?
you can't do
I
that
mean,
now.
I remember it. I couldn't have been that young.
Well, there's like the whole thing with the which the cop was, worried about, I guess, is like
The heat.
The heat thing.
Oh, this was
No,
in
you
one
the
of
leave
my
the
summer?
windows
parents
open.
once left one of us in the car, like forgot a kid, and thank God.
What if your
everything was fine?
parents did?
Yeah, I'm not going to out this parent. And I'm not going to out which kid
Okay.
it was. No, I'm not going to say. I'm not going to say. But this
Karen.
is an issue. These things happen. They are tragedies.
No, yeah.
But that's like
of course.
for a while.
Yeah, that's.
I don't even think you
Wait,
can
did
leave a
Carrie
dog.
know that you would leave the kids sleeping?
He wasn't
to-
home. He used to work so late in those days, and I just
You're
really,
like, I deserve my ice cream right now.
I need it right
I
now.
guess this was before Uber Eats.
Yeah, and I was so worried about getting into a car accident on my way to Middle Neck. I'm like, watch, I'll get into an accident. I never did though.
Well,
Wow.
Yeah,
they're all grown up and fine.
totally.
So then you told them a bedtime story about
the ugly, God, there
ugly
were so
princess.
many. I wish I could remember.
Did you
all
have-
of
did you
them.
write
I had
any
a
of them
whole
down?
repertoire. I
Gosh,
should
well,
have.
Was that was Dog Minute, by the way? That's over, right? Dog Minute.
Dog minute.
Dog Minute over.
Boom, boom, boom. You had your minute. No one cares about dogs. I mean, everyone cares about dogs, but Oshri and I do
Yeah,
not care
everyone
about.
but the two of us.
So, when I was in Vancouver, I was invited to a Shabbat dinner with this woman, and she says, I have cats. I hope that's okay. And I said, actually, I'm allergic to cats. So then she wrote, well, we'll just take Claritin an hour before and you'll be fine. I'm like, I don't want to find Claritin and then take a drug and then I can't have wine. And then she said that the cats were hairless. Ew.
Ew.
So that's so.
Wait, so did you go?
So I went and I'm thinking, if after an hour my throat closes, I'll just
It's not
leave.
just the hair. It's also like in people that are allergic to dogs, it could be the saliva.
So that's what I did. I looked
Right.
it up.
It's just the
Apparently,
animal.
there's still dander. It's in the saliva.
Right.
It's not about the fur.
Right. My
I didn't
dog
know
doesn't
that.
shed. He's got hair.
Yeah.
Like a person has
So
hair.
I figured it's going to
So
be
did you
about
feel
how
okay?
clean.
It's
I
the
didn't get
saliva.
allergic at all, and I'm like, I was holding these cats, and
Oh.
they're so weird. They have these wrinkly.
Oh, you held it?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got into it.
It's like holding a rat.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
they're
speaking
so
about
freaky.
rats, are you now freaked out about hentavirus?
Okay. New anxiety of the week: hentavirus.
Something I didn't know I had to be scared of.
Didn't know. I who knew it even existed?
Apparently, it's airborne from
What?
the fecal
No.
matter of
It's
rats.
airborne. I
Wait,
thought
what
it's-
is this?
So apparently, if you're exposed to a rodent dropping, which could happen in food.
What about the
Yeah.
New York City subway
Oh god,
or the local kosher restaurant?
that's true.
The Chinese
I,
restaurant.
could
I
be
had
a
a
rat.
mouse once.
Right, there was an actual rat in the food who says it could be rat droppings all over the place. So that's what Gene Hackman's wife died of, this hentavirus.
Oh.
You think it's just like a flu or a cold coming on, and then in 2 days you're dead.
She died first.
She
right?
died first.
And then I
Yeah.
guess he was
he had severe
unable
Alzheimer's.
to take care of
He
himself.
was 95.
He
so-
probably didn't even know she was dead, really. and then
my
he
God.
couldn't tend to the dog because, he again.
So sad.
So the dog died, she died, and then he died.
So how
It's
do we
very sad.
prevent dying from hentavirus? Like, what is the answer here?
Don't have rodents.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't have rodent pets around. Like now they're saying, oh, they had a
So
mice
maybe you
problem.
do want to have cats because don't they like eat all the rodents?
Oh my god, is that a way to avoid hentavirus to have cats?
You can't be allergic anymore.
Oh, well, I wasn't allergic to these hairless cats.
So then it was the cat hair.
So ugly. They are
So
freaky.
ugly. They're like Chihuahua cats.
but you were like,
Yes, they're like short, but it was so
slimy.
warm and
Are
cuddly.
they slimy?
No,
They look slimy.
no, they're not. They're just. It's just like wrinkly skin. I can't.
Oh, they're like gray and
And they stare at you. They're with their big,
They're
creepy
like
eyes.
aliens.
They look like alien cats.
so
But I
now
had the
you're a
best
cat lady?
time. I know. I'm like,
no, she's a hairless cat
hairless
lady.
cat lady. Well, as it is, I don't like body hair anyway on people. So I guess be consistent, keep it off the
I guess
animals
they'd be
too.
easier
Right,
for
that
the
makes
whole
sense.
they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. That
Yeah.
that has gone away. We've forgotten about that moment of the election, but I still think about that. Anybody else? We're
There's
eating the
so
dogs, we're
much
eating
more
the
to
cats.
criticize.
That
But
was so
there's
great.
just funnier stuff with him now. With the whole making Canada the 51st state.
What do people in
Everyone's going
Vancouver think about
crazy.
that?
So no, I was saying it was funny. I got on stage and I'm like, all right, this is either going to tank or bring the house down. So I said, oh, this is how I said, oh, so we have a new president, and then they all start booing. They're like, boo, and I said, he wants to be your president too. And they laugh. And then I said, look, we always knew he liked Putin. We didn't know he liked poutine.
That's funny. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, that did pretty well.
That's great. Well, did you hear the latest? This was in the New York Post yesterday or the day before. People are saying that the UK may extend an invitation to the United States to be a member of the Commonwealth.
No. Well, why would the U.S. want that? That's ridiculous.
All it means is that you can live in the UK without a visa for like 6 months or something.
And like travel a little easier, and
So
we could
give-
have
Like
the king
Canada's
on the
part
wall.
of
Can you-
it. Yeah.
Would give us that in exchange for what?
like a sign of like an extension of friendship and goodwill.
Ooh. Oh, that's very
Can you
nice.
imagine this? I mean, Americans love the royal family.
Yeah.
So if then we are part of the Commonwealth, I feel like maybe we'd start liking Meghan Markle.
Oh, gee.
You know,
That's
because they hate
I
them.
don't
They
know.
don't love the
too
royal
much
family.
cognitive dissonance
Yeah.
there.
But she doesn't like the royal family, so why would we like her?
That's true.
I watched like
that's-
20 minutes of that show, and I didn't want to give her the ratings.
right. I hear it.
She's insane.
Really?
Why
The
insane?
show is
Certifiable.
Oh, I didn't want. I mean, I
She-
just saw the show was
It's
renewed
weird.
after the first episode
Yeah,
dropped.
Well, no, they filmed 2 seasons at once and they dropped half of this show, so they were going to release a second.
Oh,
Part no
okay.
matter what.
It's pretty bad.
What is she just so? Because when I think of her, honestly, I just think of the character from Suits.
Well,
That's
she
the
was-
only. She was so
that
good.
was
Or
a
Deal or
great
No
show.
Deal, opening up the suitcase.
Right.
Oh,
That's
no,
how
I
she
didn't see that.
started.
Oh, is that right? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. But so what makes her so out of touch now in the new reality show?
I think that like she's just repackaging things in plastic, and she's spending time making like crudité boards pretty and
What is she trying to-
pretending like
is it
this
like
is
a
her
Martha
life.
Stewart
Yeah, she
type?
wants to
She's-
be like a
Yeah,
Martha
but like
Stewart.
she
really
does? Okay.
inefficient and slow and too over the top, ridiculous.
Huh,
Did you
that's
see the
so
clip
weird.
where Mindy Kaling calls her Meghan Markle and she like laughs and she's like,
Oh, I did see
so
that.
funny you're calling me Meghan Markle. My name is actually Sussex,
Sussex.
now.
There's just a
Yeah,
phoniness.
that was so weird.
Yeah, that was like cringy.
Okay.
People are comparing her show. Apparently, Pamela Anderson has a show like this, but Pamela is coming off as warm and loving and natural.
There
Like
has
she
been
really lives like this.
Pamela Anderson rebirth.
But Pamela Anderson and natural are now in the same sentence.
It's
Like,
crazy.
why? Because she stopped wearing makeup?
I know.
We love a comeback. We love a comeback. That's American.
I'll tell you, I watched the documentary about her. It was fascinating. Did you see that?
Fascinating. Amazing.
What did you learn?
It followed her, like, basically she retires from TV, lives in rural Canada, which is where she was born. She's hanging out with her mom. Her sons come and visit her. She's like, you know, her mom's like, oh, honey, the camera's on you. Wear something a little tighter and put on makeup. She's like, Ma, no one wants to see my body anymore.
Oh, so she's like a Kris Jenner?
yeah. Exactly.
She just
It's
comes
just like
off
she's just being so
as
real.
totally herself.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Like basically, she's like okay that she's not this big sex pot anymore. Where I feel like, you know, a lot of women are really still trying to hang on to that. She's really let go
and
of
showing
it.
like her love for her children and just
Yeah.
really genuine.
And talks about
I
how
think Americans want to see
that she
people
still
being
loves
genuine.
her ex.
Well,
She's
people
always loved
embracing
the
their
father of
age,
my
too.
children. Yeah.
genuine. They just want actual
Right, which-
reality, right? Reality shows are far from reality.
But it's funny because she is really still so unrelatable. So it's funny that she's made herself.
But maybe she's relatable in the sense of has a family, deals with her mom, with her
and
ex,
she's
with
got
her
an ex,
kids,
and she's dating.
and she's just like us, right? I mean, I think that's what people really want to see. So Meghan Markle, when you're going in this behind the scenes,
yeah,
not just like us, she's showing us she's not like us. She's totally phony.
right.
So
But
people
isn't-
get turned off by that.
But they're
she also
turned
didn't
off, but
grow
then
up-
they still watch.
But she
They
didn't
still
grow
hate-
up like anything like
Meghan Markle.
Yeah, she just grew up
No.
like a regular person. I heard her
Well,
first
her
husband was
father
from Great Neck.
trashes her. Oh, is that right?
You know
Yeah.
what? If she would lean into that and stop showing herself as this, like, you know,
Yeah, talk about
aspirational
all the
life.
strife that
It
she
wasn't
has
even
with
her
her
house.
family.
They
Talk
rented
about
the house
growing
for the
up.
show.
I mean, she made something that had to do with growing up. I forgot what it was. Something that she said she used to eat this way, but even it came off as phony. Like
She
nobody
must-
bought
she must
it.
be- her marriage must be pretty solid. I know they always try to intimate that she and Harry are on the rocks, but I think they're pretty good.
I mean,
you
he
know?
gave up his life, his family, his home
Yeah.
country. He's got to make this work.
Yeah, I mean they're pretty. I mean, she's so out of touch with reality, thrilled with her life. I think her marriage is going pretty good. I'm not believing any of the rumors.
What made me not like her originally was how she used to pretend that she didn't know who he was before they started dating.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
like that she
God.
didn't follow the royal family and she didn't really know who he was. And, you know, it was just like
Rachel!
serendipitous that she met this nice redheaded guy. And
He
oh,
had a
he's
very
prince.
successful book, but then they had all these other failed ventures in between.
Oh, they've had so
Right.
that's where the rumors started from.
Their Netflix
Podcasts.
deal didn't do well. The podcast. Now she's
Right.
rebranding the podcast and starting it over. You know, her original
Okay.
podcast, she'd had a producer interview the guests, and then they filmed her by herself asking the questions, and then they edited in to make it look like she was interviewing them.
No way.
We're not going to pull that kind of
Yeah,
hijinks
we won't
here,
pull
people.
that here. But wait, did it look real? Did people actually believe she was asking the questions?
Yeah, I guess they did, but I mean,
But it still
Yeah, I
didn't
don't
do
think
well.
the
It wasn't
truth-
I
authentic.
don't think anybody watched it or listened or
I don't know how you do an
whatever.
interview like that because I feel like part of the interview is you have your questions, but there's also a conversational aspect. I guess hers didn't have that part. to
How
it.
did they usurp all the attention when literally his brother is the real prince
I think it's
and
because
his
the drama,
wife is?
the drama of leaving, you know, Great Britain and not wanting to be part of the family.
I guess nobody can really understand. How do you turn that down?
And then her going on Oprah and claiming that they're racist. I mean, that was a pretty
I mean,
Oh,
so
man,
going
yeah,
back
yeah.
to like this whole Commonwealth thing, I can't see us taking an offer from the UK. I could see Trump saying, do you want to be the 51st state?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like that's
Oh,
not his MO.
Yeah. He wants.
He would never like.
He's like an old school, like go west, young man. He's like westward expansion. Except we're taking it north. We're taking it overseas.
Northeast.
He's like taking this whole like founding fathers thing really seriously here. He's like, we're not done. I really think he is learning from Putin. You know, everybody thought history was over. Countries have the land that they have, and that's it. And then Putin invades Ukraine and is like, no, this is really Russia. And I think it got Trump thinking, wait, yeah, who says history's over? Who says we can't grab more land?
Who says we can't have Greenland?
Yeah, who says expansion, U.S.? Oh, it's like, if you think about it in hindsight, it's so obvious that he would be that way. He always wants more
He's
land.
a real estate guy.
Bigger, more. Exactly. So I just want, do you think we're going during his presidency? Do you think we actually will acquire?
I think it's unlikely.
Unlikely.
But it's gotten a conversation going, which is sometimes
but why do we need that conversation going? What's
Right,
the
so something
point
we
of
never
it?
thought about before.
And if it doesn't go any, I mean, I don't see.
As the youth would say, it's a flex, right? It's a little bit of a flex.
He's just flexing.
Out of the gate. It's
But
a flex.
for who? It's
I don't
pissing
know.
off everyone.
I know. It's been a little wild. It's been a little wild.
Usually a flex impresses people. It doesn't make them go, oh, another reason to hate him.
Right.
But I was thinking, first of all, does he realize if he takes over Canada, we have to start labeling everything in French? I don't see Trump learning French.
No, and he, I think, declared English as the
Exactly.
national language or
We've
something
just
to like
declared.
eliminate all the Spanish, which is ridiculous.
No, Americans, we don't even think about Canada, right? It's like, if you think about it, I'm married to a Canadian, so I've learned a lot of things about Canada, but I think the average American doesn't know about Canadian politics. They don't know what the big...
I mean, most Americans don't even know all the 50 states of the United States of America. So I do think they know nothing about
what's going
Canada.
on.
Yeah.
Like, I think even that's why their anthem is called, Oh, Canada, because nobody knows.
We're here.
Yeah, nobody thinks about Canada. Nobody knows. So, yeah.
They're just like our little sister. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, they don't even know. But the thing
Mexico,
is,
we think about
They don't
Mexico.
have a powerful army, Canada.
Right.
In theory, we really could invade Canada and take it over.
Mexico's
like our
like-
army can do that.
And then we've got Mexico, which is like the rebel sibling.
Right. So if we took Canada
Causes
first,
us some problems.
Imagine we take Canada first. So we join, we get them to organize and be more in our army, and then we take over Mexico.
We get the Mounties.
We could. The thing is, I think we could take Canada by force. But again, like, is he good? Is he that crazy?
Not going to happen. And I don't want you to isolate your Canadian audience right now. We love you.
Vancouver loves you.
We love
and
you.
Toronto loves you, right?
I love Vancouver, Toronto. Yeah, great audiences there. But okay, we got to wrap up. Did we cover everything today?
I think so.
You guys, this was so much fun. Thanks for tuning in for the Tea Room with Talia. And we'll be back next week with some more exciting topics, so stay tuned.
And if everyone can follow, like, and subscribe and leave a review, we'd really appreciate it.
Yes, we have a new Instagram page. Like, comment, share, and subscribe to the podcast.
See you next week.
See ya.